We do have a WFA weather alert, and it's for Friday night through Saturday. The impact is the heavy rain with rainfall totals anywhere between 1 to 2 inches or isolated higher amounts. Some models are consistently bringing in higher rainfall totals. This is conservative, and once we see a bit more data, we'll adjust. But as of now, we're going with 1 to 2 inches. We could see those higher amounts too for areas east of DFW. What you need to do at this point is make sure to stay updated. Keep checking back in with us, not just for this afternoon, but every morning. I'll be here with the latest data and have a way to receive warnings. Our app is a great way to do so. You can download that for free on your phone and WFA Plus on your smart TV. That way you can stay updated with the latest forecast throughout the weekend. But no rain today. 10% coverage of rain Thursday, 60 on Friday, 70% coverage Friday night into Saturday morning. That's widespread rain for us, and it stays really with high coverage through Saturday as well. We don't see it really tapering off until Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. This is what Thursday morning looks like. I do think we'll see a little cloud cover tomorrow morning. That's going to allow temperatures to stay in the 60s, so not quite as chilly as this morning. And we'll start to see a little rain, scattered rain at that, around midday into the early afternoon and the rest of the afternoon as well. But only 10% coverage, meaning most of us stay dry. Now, Thursday night going into Friday morning, we could see some storms develop along our western counties, and then eventually for rush hour Friday morning, we'll see the scattered showers and storms. This isn't going to be widespread, but any rain, can cause some delays for that morning drive. So just be mindful of that. Be planning on taking some extra time on Friday morning. Now, Friday afternoon, Friday evening, that's when our next round moves in, and this is when we start to see some of that heavier rain pushing in. This is around 7 p.m. This is the reason why some of those Friday night football games have rescheduled to an earlier start time and for Thursday. So WFA.com for the full list of those reschedules. But we have that rain moving in, and then eventually it becomes widespread overnight. Anywhere from DFW to the east is where we could see some of this heavy rain piling in. The threat for severe weather at this point is low. It's not zero, but it's low. The higher risk is really with the heavy rain that could lead to some isolated areas of flooding. Now, this is through 7 now. Still see heavy rain still in the area. And throughout the morning, plan on seeing some of that heavy rain kind of hanging out. Now, we are going to see that rain thin out through the evening and into Sunday morning. By Sunday morning, I do think we'll see the cloud cover. I don't think we'll see the rain anymore. By then, I think we'll see some drier conditions for us. 1 to 2 inches of rain, like I said, still looking possible, but models are indicating slightly higher amounts. So we may need to be adjusting these numbers as we get closer. That's why I need you to keep checking back in with me. An eye on the tropics real quick, an update. We have Tropical Storm Melissa. Tropical Storm Melissa is currently to the south of Haiti, 300 miles south of Haiti. It's encountering some wind shear. What that means is that we're not going to see too much movement with this, but it's still likely to gain hurricane strength sometime early Saturday and likely major hurricane status by early next week. Now, this brings heavy rain for Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. So if you have plans on heading to the Caribbean, you may want to rethink that. Okay, so our temperatures here are looking to stay in the low 80s the next several days, mid 70s for the weekend. Next week, looking fall-like. Morning lows in the 50s, dry weather, highs in the 60s leading up to Halloween.
Did you notice how much nicer it feels out today? A huge humidity drop that we're enjoying right now. Dew points are at 50 or below. That means the air is bone dry, but look at the trend moving forward. Humidity is going to start to increase, and actually we've got some pretty significant changes coming our way. Rain is back in the forecast, and not just scattered isolated shower chances. We're talking about widespread rain. So we'll get to that in a moment, but first check it out. 78 degrees. We're down by 9 degrees compared to this time yesterday. The breeze out of the east at 13 miles an hour. The dew points as good as can be in the 40s. High temperature today maxes out at 84, so we stay on the cooler side throughout the afternoon. Tomorrow, increasing temperatures and humidity just a little bit, and then by Friday, not only humidity in the air, but the potential for a couple of isolated showers. It's only at 30%. We really see that rain potential hike up as we go into our Saturday. So here's a snapshot of the next 5 days. So no rain today. A little bit of moisture around tomorrow. I think that's mainly going to be humidity. Could I see an isolated shower along the immediate coastline, Matagorda, Brazoria? Possible. By Friday, there could be a couple of showers ahead of this big front that moves in for our Saturday. We have made it a weather impact alert day. So what this means is you want to monitor the forecast pretty closely on Saturday for the potential of some issues on the roads, including high water spots, ponding, maybe localized street flooding. It's going to be poor visibility for our Saturday because of the nature of how much rain we're going to have and just how large those drops are going to be. It makes it hard to see. You don't want to be driving in that and having your windshield wipers working overdrive, trying to get a good vantage point, a good view. Not only are we going to see widespread rain, we could see thunderstorms, so lightning also going to be an issue for outdoor activities. If the kiddos had any games planned on Saturday, they're likely going to get postponed. And then I'm going to be monitoring the front for some gusty wind as well. So far, there's no severe weather outlook. However, I could see that evolving as we get closer to the timeline. So for now, monitor 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So it's a 12-hour window. It really is going to be an all-day event, several rounds of rain. The weather headlines are as follows. So nothing to worry about today. We talked about the cooler, drier forecast. Saturday's in red because it's a weather impact alert day. And then as we move towards next week, we're going to get a secondary front, and that's actually going to cool down our temperatures for the longer term. So that will be nice for everybody that's been wondering, where is fall? Let's look at future track. I'll start you off on Friday evening. The models right now don't have a lot of activity until we head into the overnight hours. So that's a look at Saturday, 5 a.m. Bryan College Station towards Montgomery, curving out towards the Katy Freeway down to El Campo. You'll notice the models have this bowing motion for the front, which does signal some potential for gusty wind alongside the really heavy rain that is going to be sweeping through the area. So most of us are going to see widespread rain on Saturday, and that's just round one of the rain because there's more of it out behind it, which should give us additional accumulation for the afternoon and evening. So from now to Friday, rain chances are low, accumulation is low. Maybe 1/10 of an inch of rain for the spots that do see a prefrontal shower. Saturday morning, this is just the morning totals. We're already seeing some spots picking up 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. The models are saying that that's going to be the scenario right through the heart of the city. So Montgomery, Harris County, a portion of Fort Bend down to the coastline. Now, as I take you through the rest of Saturday, those rain totals grow significantly. So we could see some spots that pick up 3 to maybe upwards of 5 inches of rainfall. And it's those spots that see the localized higher totals that are at risk for seeing not just ponding and not just high water, but maybe some localized street flooding too. So we haven't upgraded. Our Saturday flood risk now is a level 2, slight threat. Notice that is for all of Harris County. Montgomery, Walker, San Jacinto, Polk, Liberty, down to Chambers and Galveston. The only spots that are a slightly lower risk for seeing flooding, marginal, will be our western cities and counties. So that's Brenham, Washington, Austin County, Colorado, Wharton, down to Matagorda. Basically, we all need to be watching radar for the potential of some heavy rain with this first front that rolls in, making for a very stormy start to our weekend. As that clears out of the way, we've got a nice quiet forecast for our Monday, but by Tuesday, things are already ramping up again. Now, I don't think this particular front is going to squeeze out a ton of rain, maybe a couple of isolated showers. However, this will drag in some cooler air. So if you've been looking for that fall temperature drop, oh boy, here it comes. And it actually couldn't come at a better time because it's timing out to roll in for Halloween. So it'll make it feel nice and festive. Temperature-wise, we should be at 81 degrees for this time of year. So we are running on the warm side today through Friday. Then with the widespread rain, our temperatures are going to stay pretty suppressed in the mid-70s. Behind this first front that rolls in this weekend, we do start to see temperatures recover above average for this time of year into the mid-80s. But behind that next front that I showed you that comes in on Tuesday, look at the drop in temperatures, 70s, and not just for a day, but for a good stretch through the remainder of the work week into the weekend. So how does our Halloween shape up? Well, we're not going to have rain, which is great. It's not going to be a mess on the roads or on foot for the kiddos. 70s for the afternoon high temperatures. And then if you're going for a trick or treat at night, we will be cooling off into the 50s. So it's definitely going to be on the chilly side. So just plan to have a couple of jackets out there. Already cooler today, down by 10 degrees, like I showed you. Area wide, we are at least in the upper 70s, some of us starting to touch 80 degrees. Tomball, Brenham, you're at 80. Galveston's at 79. Your hump day is going to be really, really nice. So not much warmer than where we are right now. I think a lot of us top off in the low 80s. Remember, Bush, I think, gets up to around 84 degrees right at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a mixture of sun and clouds. Galveston, cloudy but really quiet, 79 there. The breeze out of the north, which is a drying breeze, so everything is nice and tame there. The Caribbean, though, is a lot more active. I'm looking at Tropical Storm Melissa. It's got a big convective field, and it actually has pretty good symmetry so far. So just has to get that organized center of circulation to start to build in even more and become a hurricane, which is expected to do over the next few days. In fact, the National Hurricane Center has now upgraded the intensity for Melissa, now forecast to become a major Category 3 hurricane. And for now, the cone has it spinning just south of Jamaica for a few days. So by Monday morning is when it's expected to get that Cat 3 hurricane status. And what it does from there, we'll have to monitor closely. But so far, the models are either splattering this to the east or to the west, not sliding into the Gulf. Luckily for us this time of year, those fall fronts really help to push any activity further south. But it goes without saying, hurricane season, it's still around through the end of November. So we definitely have to keep tabs on Melissa, especially because I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to grow in intensity and maybe even surpasses that Cat 3 and becomes a Cat 4. So an update once a day is a necessity. 7-day forecast looks like this. So quiet today, quiet tomorrow. I don't think a lot of us are going to see much activity as far as rain is concerned on Friday. I think most of us are going to see it Saturday, though. That's why it's a weather impact alert day, 70% chance for widespread downpours, a couple of strong thunderstorms as well, with some gusty winds that could lead to power outages. I wouldn't be surprised. Then by Sunday, isolated rain showers, mainly in the morning. And then we're looking at a dry day on Monday. More activity returns on Tuesday. Remember, that cold front, not so much of a widespread rainmaker. Maybe we squeeze out a few showers from it. It really is going to be a temperature buster. So it's going to drop our high temperatures from the mid 80s to the mid 70s.
First, let's go ahead 9-10 days in the future and talk about what Halloween might have in store, because we're still a long way out. Last year was hot, though, 90 with the low at 73, so trick-or-treat time was like in the 80s. So it was one of the warmest Halloweens on record last year for 2024. Now, for this upcoming year, we'll definitely be closer to normal. Our normal high for Halloween is 77. I think we're trending in the lower 80s right now, maybe upper 70s, because we do have a front in the forecast Friday night, and then another one the middle of next week, basically by next Wednesday, this time next week. And that'll help reinforce a more comfortable pattern for Halloween 2025. We'll show you that in a second. All right, 78 out the door, feels nice. East-northeast winds at 11 miles an hour. The dew point's low, so it's very dry outside. That's why it felt phenomenal this morning. It was not colder, it was just more comfortable because of the lack of moisture in the air. It was only 68 this morning, but the dry air made it feel more comfortable and more pleasant. All right, 74 at Bulverde. We have 82 at Castroville, 82 at Devine, and 82 at Moore. Zooming out, more lower to middle 80s towards, like, let's say Live Oak County. They're at 86 right now. But most areas at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the 70s. It feels great and the air is dry, so it is very comfortable out there for any lunch plans. Today's high 86, tomorrow 88, so a little warmer for your Thursday. Winds a little breezy at times for tomorrow, 10-20 miles an hour. As you can see, we've highlighted late Friday night, mainly after 10 o'clock into early Saturday morning, where we could see a rain chance. We have not been able to talk about that in recent weeks because since basically early September, we have not seen a drop. Outside right now, it's mostly clear. We have a couple of clouds overhead, but watch this. Here comes our rain chance. Late Friday night, we're going to watch a few storms out in West Texas. along a frontal boundary, and that'll move farther east. I think the heaviest amount of rain and thunder shower activity should be farther towards like Dallas, Waco, Austin area. But notice this particular forecast model says about 1 a.m. early Saturday morning, storms out west, move farther east, and some of those could be heavy downpours. Flooding's not a threat right now, but this will be primarily overnight into early Saturday morning. This model is saying anywhere from like, I would say, 1/4 to an inch of rain on average, with higher totals out west. And that'll be the main key, because depending on these storms developing out in our northwestern counties, they could be capable of upwards of 2 to maybe 3 inches of rainfall. And we do need the rain, with the drought continuing to worsen across south central Texas. All right, here's your 14-day forecast. High temperature, I think about 86 today, 88 tomorrow. And then there's that weather impact alert late Friday night after 10 p.m. into early Saturday morning. 70% coverage on some of those scattered showers and a few thunderstorms entering the area. Cooler on Saturday, 83, and then Sunday morning, 64 to 86 with lower humidity. It's looking pretty good for Sunday.
We are looking at mid to upper 70s right now. We're at 78 as we take a look from our KVUE studios in North Austin. And we got to show another live look at the Kalahari Resorts and Conventions weather camera overlooking the Dell Diamond, because look at Old Glory and the Lone Star State flag fluttering nicely in that wind, mostly coming out of the south, but mostly also the northeast as well. But other than that, mid to upper 70s, Hutto and Pflugerville feeling lucky at the double sevens along the 130 toll route. Also Elgin and Cedar Creek, western Bastrop County, I should say, feeling lucky as well, 77. We do have upper 70s for most of the coastal plains, and even Llano checking in at 77, getting to the mid 70s now in some sections of the hill country as well. Your allergy count: ragweed medium, mold high, fall elm and pine low, and you can find that each and every day on KVUE.com and the KVUE app. Looking at highs today, only getting to the mid 80s. Some areas south and east of Austin could get to the upper 80s, but it's a far cry from those 90s that we saw back on Monday. Now, the dew points are really going to be down there by the time we get to noon, but then slowly increase, because we're going to have winds coming out of the southeast, and we're going to see that steady increase in humidity over the next couple of days. And we really could use the rain that's associated with it for this weekend, because look at the drought monitor, which the new one will be released tomorrow. But we've got extreme drought in sections of the Austin metro, and especially in Bastrop and Hayes counties as well. With this in mind, with the dry humidity and the dry soils and the lack of rain chances, we've got areas along and east of I-35 with a high risk of fire danger for Wednesday. So please don't burn anything outside, especially since every single central Texas county has a burn ban in place. But let's take a look at this. By the time we get to 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, we're flash forwarding all the way to Saturday, and we've got this line of storms making its way right through the Austin metro. Could bring with it some good heavy rainfall, and as a result of that, some areas could get around 1 inch, maybe even 1.5 inches to 2 inches, and that's why we've issued a weather impact alert period for Friday night and the Saturday, and that is because of the possibility of localized flooding in spots. We're going to get an early jump on it that'll helpfully get you guys prepared in a quicker amount of time. We'll revisit it the closer it gets, depending on what the model trends do, and if we have to cancel it, we will. But for now, prepare for some heavy rain possible Friday night and on into Saturday.
So right now, we still have very dry air in place. We still have the elevated risk for grass fires to pop up, although it's a little bit lower than the past 48 hours or so. You can see things are still nice and green, beautiful. Sunny skies, 75 degrees, and winds about half what they were yesterday. So overall, calm, quiet, and nice before we get warm this afternoon, but not hot. We won't be in the 90s this afternoon. More like, I would say, 80 to 85 degrees under dry of conditions and sunny skies. So this is like a lull between systems, essentially, is what we're dealing with today. Again, this is a great patio lunch day. If you don't have lunch plans, I'd go outside. It's actually quite nice right now. 70 to 75 across the board right now in terms of live look at temperatures, 11:15. 75 Temple, 72 Gatesville. It is 74 degrees in College Station right now. Easterly flow at like 10, 15 miles an hour. So not as windy is what I'm saying, even though we still technically have dry of conditions. So you don't want to be burning brush. 60s, 70s across our entire great state, even Houston, 76 degrees right now. No one getting any rainfall quite yet. There's more cloud cover the further south that you go, but right now it is high pressure, sinking air, calm and quiet, and will be the rest of today. No chance for precipitation. That chance, again, does not start until the back half of the 7-day forecast, but Friday really for central Texas when it's going to begin. I'll show you the statewide regional rain chances though, because I know a lot of folks may be going over to Dallas, up to West Texas, things like that. So we'll kind of recap the entire state's rain chance and then dig into how much we might get here. High temperatures this afternoon between 80 and 85 for the great majority of the viewing area. 83 Lampasas, 85 Waco. Under sunny skies, lighter winds this afternoon. Speaking of winds, let's look at wind direction and speed the next couple of days because things are about to get interesting once again. It's kind of like every couple of days we're having a system move through right now, finally getting something interesting in the weather department. So up to 15 gusting this afternoon, especially the further west that you go. Winds are out of the south today. Winds are out of the south tomorrow on Thursday. A little bit higher, I would say some 20-mile-an-hour gusts. Definitely wouldn't be unreasonable. Now, winds are going to kick up Friday into Saturday with an upper level low. Moisture headed to our region ahead of a front that will get here on Saturday. Winds will be out of the south. It'll be a tad bit muggy, and rain chances begin on Friday, especially the back half of Friday, overnight into early Saturday. That's when we could get multiple rounds of heavy rainfall. There's actually tad bit of a flooding threat. Some of us could get 2-3 inches of rain. And we're also going to have gusty winds. Now, obviously, if a thunderstorm were to move through your location, you could see some significantly higher gusts than what you're seeing right here. But even if you're not getting a thunderstorm, it looks like we'll have a southerly flow up to 20-25 miles an hour Friday, especially Friday late into Saturday. We could see those multiple rounds of rain. It looks like the front is going to be here likely Saturday in the PM hours, and rain will start to clear from west to east probably right around then. So overall, I mentioned I will cover all of Texas. We're going to start to see an increase in cloud cover ahead of the rain getting here on Thursday. If you're headed towards northwest Texas, north of 20, their rain chances begin Thursday, DFW as well. Central Texas, maybe Thursday in the PM hours, a slim chance we're seeing something. I think a lot of it holds off till Friday, but especially Friday in the PM hours. Now, we could have some earlier Friday light activity on radar, heavier the further north that you go outside of our viewing area. But it's Friday night, overnight into Saturday, especially the front half of Saturday, that I think we're going to have widespread multiple rounds of rain. When that's the flooding threat will be greatest. I don't think we're going to see super widespread flooding, but yes, I do think there's going to be some folks that get 2-3+ inches of rain. It's been quite some time since we've had that. Rain starts to clear out from west to east with the arrival of that frontal boundary Saturday in the PM hour, so by Saturday night over the next 7 days. This is interesting right here. Haven't seen a map like this in months, since July, I would say. I would say our far western counties, maybe about an inch and a half on average is what you're seeing. If you're at I-35, I think we are going to see widespread 2 inches. A lot of that will fall Friday and or Saturday, especially Friday night into, I would say, by lunch Saturday. If you are east of 35, I think we're going to have some pockets that are 3 to 4 inch rain totals over the next 7 days. Again, a lot of which is going to be Friday and Saturday. That's when we issued our weather impact alert for. By the way, there's a low and severe threat. We're under a level of marginal risk. So we could have a couple of warnings out there Friday into Saturday, especially Friday night and Saturday during the day. I think gusty winds and small hail will be the primary threats, along with isolated pockets of flash flooding. Tropical storm Melissa, just quickly mentioning that this could become a very powerful hurricane threatening Jamaica and the Caribbean. So just something to watch over the next few days. 7-day forecast calls for a very good chance for rain, may even make this 90 here later on this afternoon. But overall, there are decent chances for rain. Yes, if you are headed out to Friday night lights, you do want to pay attention to the forecast for sure. But look at Sunday's high. We're going to be in the 70s, rebounding quite nicely into early next week. And by the way, just outside of this is the week of Halloween, and it looks like potentially we're going to have some colder air moving in. I'm excited about that because my costume is one that I do not want it to be hot, Jasmine.
Our very first freeze we've ever had happened on Halloween. That was in 1993. This year, it's still a little ways out, but we've got a rough outlook. So we're watching the trends for Halloween. Now, it does look like there is a chance for a cold front around October 29th, which is about Tuesday heading into Wednesday, so Wednesday of next week. However, one of the forecast models, particularly the GFS, is trending a little later with that timing of the front, which could make it after Halloween. So It's not a guarantee yet, but it's definitely something we're watching, and I'm leaning more toward the middle of the week cold front, if I'm being honest. But trending down is the rainfall. It looks like it may come in a little bit drier, especially over Texas, but we are looking at least near average temperatures for Halloween, which means you may be able to get away at least without a jacket and maybe not be too sweaty. But that would have us at a high of 81 and a low of 61. We could be a little cooler initially behind the front, but again, we may see some recovery as we head into Halloween. Breezy conditions are expected. And so let's break down the atmospheric pattern that we're keeping an eye on. This is our weekend storm system. What I want to point out about this is you see it's weakening, and essentially we should have this nice ridge of high pressure, but this upper level low is going to swing in and weaken that high pressure. It's not going to drop our temperatures a lot because it originated off the coast of California, but what it is going to do is provide a chance of rain. However, you see most of the storm energy staying just north of the coastal bend, so I'm not overly confident in those weekend rain chances, but areas to the northeast definitely have a chance. This is your midweek cold front next week. So again, a lot of the forcing, the better chance of rain looks like it may wind up over the southeast. However, cooler airs and drier air is going to work its way down the plains in this scenario. And this northerly wind flow in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere, that's what's going to trigger our cooler weather pattern for us and keep us away from the hotter high pressure system, it looks like, as we head into next week. So that's the trend we're watching. For now, we've got some clouds. We've got a chance or a couple of spotty rain showers. This is our Port Aransas camera, Coastal Parks Beach camera. We do have some wave heights around 3 feet, but they're staying pretty low today. Wave heights do go up into Saturday, and we could be looking at some minor coastal flooding over the weekend. We'll have to keep an eye out on that. If you are traveling this morning, SPID will have some soggy spots. We have been watching some rain in the area, so you'll see that here. It's impacting areas across Crosstown now. So Corpus Christi, also Saratoga, Yorktown getting a little bit soggy, Port Aransas, there's that storm that we were seeing on our Coastal Parks Beach camera. Overall, we're mostly dry across the coastal bend, but a spotty shower is going to be possible because of this cold front, right? So that cold front working its way in, it's going to not necessarily drop temperatures, but it's giving us a chance for an isolated shower. Cloud coverage will keep our high closer to 89 degrees versus 95 that we were at yesterday. Here's the view on our camera, our Lex camera. I want to show you here, 87 degrees there, your temperature. So overall, real quickly, this warm front's lifting north. It's the weekend cold front we're keeping an eye on, but again, most of that rain is staying to the north. Rainfall coverage northeast of Corpus Christi, and your 7-day forecast, 50% chance for some rain and thunderstorms in the area Saturday. We dry out into the beginning of next week.